Victoria's not here, but I want to thank her as well. She is, as you guys know, she is the heart and soul of the effort to protect families and protect life here at the Virginia Family Foundation. I wanted to say something a little different this evening as I talk to you. And Britton, I'm going to steal one of your stickers because this one means a lot to me. This is the I am the pro-life generation sticker here. I'm going to take one of these with me, but I'll tell you why. I'm 45 years old. I'm a candidate for governor, and I believe I too am part of the pro-life generation because my parents met at the very first National March for Life. The very first year after Roe v. Wade. You remember this moment. Americans who were pro-life came together and they said, no, we think this is wrong. And they marched together. My parents met at the very first pro-life march, and believe it or not, they were married about a year later, and a little bit after that I was born. So I too am part of the pro-life generation. Yeah, thank you. But let me tell you why that matters to me. And this is a little divergent from my stub speech. This is a little something special for the Virginia Family Foundation because I kind of feel like speaking at the Virginia Family Foundation is home field advantage for me. When I gave my very first speech as a candidate for governor, I gave it at an event hosted, not too far from here, by the Virginia Family Foundation. And I told a story that means a lot to me because, flashback to 2019, we had just gotten our clocks cleaned by the Democrats. We, for 30% of us in Virginia, I was one of them, didn't have a single Republican on our ballots. Think about that. We surrendered 30% of all of our ballots to Democrats without a fight. Now, I'm from Arlington, Virginia, and we had 5 Democrats on my ballot, and there wasn't a single Republican to vote for. And now we saw one-party rule take hold in our Commonwealth. And my wife said to me, leaving church one Sunday, she said, wouldn't it be great if all the pro-life Virginians gathered together as Virginians at the National March for Life, and then what if we had big Virginia flags and we all marched together as one united pro-life Commonwealth in a sea of 1 million, there's about 1 million people there, pro-life Americans. I said, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Who's going to do it? Of course, my wife, always the inspiration, looks at me and says, you should do it. I said, okay. And that was what we did. So I had never been a community organizer before, but we went out and I brought together pro-lifers from across our Commonwealth. And then we rallied, 100 strong, but guess what? If you're going to put on a giant rally in Washington, D.C., you got to talk to the Department of Interior. You have to talk to the Park Service. You got to get your permits. You got to get your bus plan, your Porta-John plan in place. You got to be a community organizer. When I saw that I got my very first permit for Virginia is for Life, the first time ever that pro-life Virginians gathered together and would march in the National March for Life, I looked at my wife and I said, well, congratulations. You're officially married to a community organizer. And she said, you're not running for president. I said, okay. But that also shows my commitment. And I cannot tell you how amazing it was to see hundreds of Virginians with our big Virginia flags all marching together. And our message was very clear and it was very powerful because we said it does not matter what just happened in Richmond. It does not matter what Democrats do or say. We want our country to know that Virginia is still for life. And I believe that very passionately. And I know you do as well. So, as a candidate for governor, pro-life, being pro-life is not a bumper sticker for me. It's part of my vision. And that's going to be a very important thing. Bishop Jackson mentioned vision tonight several times, and I agree. Because as Republicans, I know you have a lot of very good candidates to choose from when you make your selection, who you're going to support at our May 8th convention. But out of all of the good, fine candidates, I'm the only one who has put forward what I believe is a winning vision for how, as conservatives, as Republicans, we're going to lead our Commonwealth. For me, that vision is very simple, and it's why I'm running. Because I believe that, yeah, Virginia, we should be the best, but we're not. Terry McAuliffe and Ralph Northam, back-to-back administrations, they have put Virginia on the wrong track. They want to move Virginia left. We need to move Virginia forward, but look at exactly what that means. Our literacy rates are cratering. Violent crime is spreading across our Commonwealth. Here in Richmond, we know that's true. It's the same in Northern Virginia. And look at our economy. This was a man-made crisis. It did not have to happen. We did not have to destroy our Virginian economy because of COVID. Ron DeSantis in Florida, Governor Abbott in Texas, they have shown us you did not have to destroy your economy, but Democrats, well, they have the wrong vision. They have the wrong priorities. So if we're going to be the best, if we're going to win, we have to make a clear and compelling distinction between the vision that Terry McAuliffe is offering and our vision for winning. Terry McAuliffe, say what you will about him. Say, oh, well, he's McAwful, or oh, King Ralph, he stinks. That's fine, but they have a vision. It's a bad vision, and they have been specific. They have been specific about what they intend to do. And on the campaign trail, we've heard a lot of sloganeering, a lot of bumper sticker slogans, this candidate saying this and that candidate saying that. And I say, this is the moment for us to be specific and say exactly what it is we mean to do. Because if we're going to beat Democrats, and I intend to win this nomination, I intend to be your nominee, we need to start getting specific. Terry McAuliffe has been specific. He's told us he wants to hand the educational keys over to the teachers' unions and put them in charge of our educational system. I say no. We are going to break the monopoly that teachers' unions have over our educational system. I'll tell you how. Terry McAuliffe has said that he wants to put charlatans, critical race theory charlatans, in charge of our educational curriculum here in Virginia. I say no. We are going to remove critical race theory from our classrooms. We're going to reform our curriculum, and we're going to tell Ron DeSantis that you're not number one anymore when it comes to getting critical race theory out of our classrooms. Because Virginia should be the best. And think about taxes. Terry McAuliffe has said that he wants to tax and spend Virginians into the dirt in order to pay all of the political cronies that he's made promises to, specific promises to. I say no. So, Virginia Family Foundation, Virginians, are you ready to be the best? Because my vision is very clear. We are going to phase out the state income tax here in Virginia and go to 0%. That's right. I see your eyes go up. We are going to phase out the state income tax and go to 0%, and we can do it without blowing out the budget. My plan is to follow exactly what the North Carolina Republicans have done. They started tax reform back in 2013, and they went down that tax mountain in stages. They're leveling off. They're not going to go to 0% because they're not going to be the best. Virginia is going to be the best. We are going to phase out the state income tax so that we can compete. Think about it. Right now, 9 other states in the country have already phased out their state income tax. West Virginia is about to phase out their state income tax. They've already passed the legislation. When, Virginians, did we ever think that West Virginia would be eating our lunch? I know that we spent a lot of time over many years having fun at West Virginia's expense, but look who's laughing now. West Virginia is reforming their curriculum. West Virginia is reforming how they fund students and schools. West Virginia is showing that Virginia is moving in the wrong direction. So let's talk specifics. First off, I talked about being pro-life. When we look at what Democrats want to do to our Commonwealth, when we look at what their vision is, Democrats, they want to make Virginia the most dangerous state in the country when it comes to the lives of the innocent unborn. We need to make Virginia the safest state in the country when it comes to the lives of the innocent unborn. And I believe we're going to have a Republican House of Delegates by next year. We're going to take back these 6 seats. We need to take control of our House of Delegates. But if Democrats try and push their aggressive anti-life agenda as governor, I'm going to teach Democrats in the House of Delegates of the meaning of a very powerful 4-letter word: veto. Because we are going to protect the lives of the innocent unborn, but being pro-life is not enough. We also have to be pro-family. That's why, in this campaign, I am the only candidate who has put forward that we are going to be the first state in the country to have paid bereavement leave for mothers, husbands, and partners who have suffered a miscarriage. Think about that. Right now, nowhere in the United States do you have paid bereavement leave if you've gone through a miscarriage. After a miscarriage, families need time to heal. They need time to focus on what's important. They don't need to be thinking about how many vacation days do I need to take. This is a traumatic experience in the lives of families, and I know. I've met many people, 20%, 20 to 25%, we don't quite know the number, of all women have suffered a miscarriage at some point in their lives. If we are going to be the best state in the country when it comes to protecting the lives of the unborn, that we need to also be the best state in the country in being pro-family. And this is part of my vision for being number one. I'm the only candidate in this race who's done that, but think about this. If we are going to be the best, we have to put out a vision. If we're going to beat Democrats, we have to say, this is our vision as Republicans. And let's talk about education, because here's another problem. Taryn McAuliffe has got the wrong vision. Democrats have the wrong vision. If we're going to be number one, that means we need to fundamentally break the monopoly that teachers' unions have over our educational system, and we're going to do it by making sure that the money follows the students. We are going to fund students first instead of systems. Think about this. I get a lot of grief from the Democrats and the left saying, oh my gosh, you're going to destroy this public school. This is bad things are going to happen. But I don't see it as controversial. In fact, I think this will unleash our potential as a Commonwealth when it comes to education. Because in every other aspect of American life, think about it, the GI Bill, Medicaid, food stamps, we fund individuals instead of systems. If you get out of the military, you get your GI Bill, the government doesn't say, oh, I'm sorry. You can only use your GI Bill at the closest bad community college to where you live. That doesn't happen. If you get sick, you want to use your Medicaid, the government doesn't say, oh, I'm sorry. You can't go to that Catholic hospital that has the best doctors and the best treatment. You have to go to the poorly run government clinic near your home. Food stamps. Too many of Virginia's families are struggling and suffering right now. No one says, oh, I'm sorry, you can't use your food stamps and only use them to purchase food at the poorly run government depot near your home, and if the food is bad, spoiled, or there's no food at all, well, that's just tough luck for you. That's what happens because that's where you live. If that was the case, this would be the biggest controversy in our country right now, and I would be joining in the marches to stop it. So why is it that in the case of education, we accept that we must fund systems instead of students? So how are we going to do that? Well, Kentucky, right next door, has already passed the legislation just 2 weeks ago and done just that. They are now going to be funding students instead of systems. So when I give this talk, usually out on a stump, I say, all right, show of hands. How many parents do we have? How many moms do we have in the room? There's usually a couple people who raise their hands. And I said to one woman, I was like, how many kids do you have? She's like, I have 6 kids. I homeschool. I was like, oh, well, get ready, because your life is about to change. If we fund students instead of systems, if we follow the model of the GI Bill, Medicaid, food stamps, and fund individuals first, think about what that will mean. That will be a game changer, because this mom, on average, in Virginia, we spend about $12,500 per student on average across our Commonwealth. Now, this mom will have the equivalent of $12,500 per child, and she can use that money to send her children to the public school of her choice, or the private school of her choice, or she can use that money and homeschool and use that money for her education. She said, wow, that'd be a game changer. I was like, I hope it is. Because again, if we are going to win, we have got to show a winning vision for how we're going to lead. Taryn McAuliffe cannot match any of this because he is too wed to the teachers' unions. He is too wed to his tax and spending ways. And as you think about who it is you're going to support at our great Republican convention on May 8th, I want you to just to keep remembering one nagging question. Who's going to debate Taryn McAuliffe? We know how to lose to Taryn McAuliffe. We know how to lose to Democrats. Last time around, we spent $25 million losing to Ralph Northam. If we are going to win in November, I ask all Republicans to join me. Throw out that old playbook. Throw out the old losing ways. We got to get new players on the field, players with big ideas and a winning vision for how we're going to change our Commonwealth. I want you to join me, but more importantly than that, I want you to join me, this is my final thought, in something more powerful than politics, something that affects your life. Because as a candidate for governor, when I got in this race, I made a pledge to myself. I was only going to say what I believed. And I would never let anyone on the left or anyone bully me into saying something I didn't think was true. And I want you to join me in that. I want you to join me in training yourself right now. Train yourself now not to be bullied by absurdity. Train yourself to only say what you know is true, because think about it. Right now in Virginia, everyone knows. They go to work, they go to school, and they say the wrong thing this week, or they have the wrong opinion next week, because opinions got to change every week, something is new. They could lose their job. They could lose their ability to ever get an education. And that's wrong. So we're going to say no. We are going to get critical race theory out of our classrooms, and I'm going to use the bully pulpit of the governor's mansion to say everyone in Virginia should follow the example of the Loudoun County moms. You know these moms. These are the moms in Loudoun County who trained themselves not to be bullied. They stood up to their school board, and they took the heat. They got put on a blacklist for standing up for what they knew was true. They are my personal heroes. I got to meet a few of them who are on the blacklist. They were wearing it like a badge of honor, a badge of pride. That is exactly the model that we need to have. So there are many challenges we have ahead, and certainly in the political arena, I face them every day. But you will face them too, and no matter what happens in your life, train yourself not to be bullied by absurdity. Train yourself only to say what you know is true. This is how we will endure. This is how we will succeed, and I believe this is how we will win. Got some time for questions, and I put a lot out there, but when it comes to jobs going to 0%, that's going to supercharge our economy. When it comes to education, we're going to fundamentally change how we fund education, and we are going to go to number one. When it comes to safety and all the challenges we face, we are going to let law enforcement know you're going to have the best training in this country. You're going to respect the rights of every individual you meet. And you're going to go out and you're going to do your job. This is a vision for how we're going to win, and no other candidate in this race has put forward a coherent winning vision. I believe I've got one. I'm going to take your questions, and I really want you to push back and challenge me and ask some hard ones. I think we've earned it, and I really thank you for your time and certainly for your attention. Pray for me, pray for our Commonwealth. Thank you. Okay, we'll do more. Let's go in the very back. We'll go 1, 2, and Don will go 3. How's that, okay?
Yeah, good.
What was your name? I haven't met you yet.
Nolan.
Good to meet you, sir.
2 quick questions. One, where do you stand on the LGBT and all that as an issue? And how do you expect Virginia to get down to a 0% state?
Okay. So 2 very easy softball questions. You're going to look, I got asked this question by the Washington Post. Again, only say what I believe. Here's what I believe. I'm a conservative. That means that I don't believe it's any of the government's or the governor's business to get in between the lives of 2 adults and tell them how to organize their life. But I'm also a conservative, which means I believe in religious freedom. And I believe that it is the governor's job to protect your religious right, to protect religious freedom. And if a church, a synagogue, or house of worship says, we don't perform same-sex marriages here, that's the religious right. And it is the governor's job to protect that right. For too long here in Virginia, we've had Democrats who forgot what their job was. They forgot that their job was to protect religious freedom and to protect your rights. I'm a conservative, I'm a Christian, I'm a Republican, and I know as something I like, it's a model we're going to replicate here in Virginia. They created a zero-income tax bracket. Basically, they gave everyone in their state, every household in their state, a $21,000 deduction for their state taxes. Now think about what that means. So you're a family in Southwest Virginia. You're struggling right now. You're only making about $21,000, $24,000 a year. You're going to work, you're working, but you're still not only pulling in that amount of money. Your taxes go to 0 immediately under my plan. That is a game changer, not just for you, not just for your life, it is a game changer for everyone in Virginia who is working hard and struggling on the lowest ladder of the income, on the lowest rung of the income ladder. As Republicans, I like that. That's what I think is a winning vision, and this is something that we can take to every corner of our Commonwealth. I'm doing it now. So the bottom line on this, I get asked, how are you going to replace the money? This is a good question, because I say we're not going to blow out the budget if we do it. All right, so we've got a delta of about $32 billion. So how much money we currently take in on income taxes in Virginia. And Ben Franklin was right, death and taxes, you can't get rid of them, either one. But my model is to look at what other states like Tennessee and others, our neighbors, have done, West Virginia. And yeah, you tend to pay a little bit more in sales taxes, but the difference is not dramatic. It is not overly dramatic. Tennessee has food exemption. I love that idea. If you're on one side of Bristol, Virginia, on the Virginia side, you buy breakfast, coffee and a bagel, it'll cost you about $5.20. If you go right across the street to Tennessee, Bristol, Tennessee, get that exact same breakfast, it'll cost you about 7 cents more because of the food exemption. The difference is not night and day. And if you're talking about non-food items, a $5 pack of pencils in Virginia, it'll cost you about $5.20 over the border in Tennessee. Not a night and day difference. We can do this, but here's the best part. When they started reforming their tax system in North Carolina, when they started going lower and lower and lower on their income taxes, they started raising more and more and more money because they had a better economic environment. People were leaving their states and going to North Carolina. They were leaving Virginia and going to North Carolina. We lost national auto parts from Virginia that went across the border to North Carolina because they had a better business environment. Virginians, we have got to compete against the likes of West Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, Texas. These states are eating our lunch. And when companies are thinking about moving out of California, they're not looking to move into another version of California. They're looking for a better future for themselves. I know we can do this. Other states have shown us it can be done. And again, if we're going to be the best, it starts with going to 0% income taxes. And I'm proud of that vision. This is something we can win on.
Okay, your first answer to me was too political.
Okay.
As a politician, when I asked about the LGBT, do you support men identified as women?
Oh, okay, sure.
Right,
There.
women.
That's right. If we're going to make policy, we need a neutral standard. We need a neutral baseline that we can all look at and go, all right, can we all agree on a neutral baseline, on a neutral standard? Here's my neutral standard. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. There is such a thing as a biological man. There is such a thing as a biological woman. And the left is trying to manipulate and abuse language and use it to confuse and distract voters, use it to confuse and distract kids. If we're going to make good policy, we need a neutral baseline. We can all agree, and I think science should be the neutral baseline. There is such a thing as a biological man. There is such a thing as a biological woman. Okay, yes?
I had a bit of a follow-up on the last question, but right now there's a candidate for governor in California, a Republican candidate who's transgender, okay? So I know there's a problem sometimes with Republican loyalty, but I don't think, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing the Republican platform is not necessarily as specific on transgender as can be. I know there's a former drag queen who's critiqued the Trump campaign because of the homosexuals in the campaign. And he's actually experienced some of the negative consequences. And I think there's also some Democrats who push a policy whereby an underage person can kind of have a transgender operation sort of pretty much persuasively forced on that person. Do we need an actual written platform regarding transgender?
Here in Virginia or at the national level, I don't know. Let me say this. If I was a citizen, a voter in California, and I had to choose to vote for Caitlyn Jenner, I wouldn't vote for him. Now, when it comes to what we do about the issue of gender, it's being taught in our schools. Like I said, there is such a thing as a biological man. There is such a thing as a biological woman. We're going to use a scientific baseline. It is wrong to teach children at very early ages that you can be whatever, you could be a man, you can be a woman. I think this is part of a broader agenda that we need to push back on. As governor, Victoria was right when she talked about the importance of setting out a goal, setting out a vision, and making sure everyone understood what it was we were playing for. When it comes to our education curriculum, we are going to get a lot of these woke concepts. You spoke of one of them. I talked about critical race theories as well. We are going to get them out of our classroom. We're going to focus on the things that matter. Education instead of indoctrination. We are going to prioritize reading, writing, and arithmetic at the lower grade levels, and advance science, engineering, technology, math at the higher levels. And we're going to eliminate this idea that Virginia is no longer going to teach advanced mathematics until the 11th grade. This is wrong. Democrats are saying, we've seen them already say it in Loudoun County and Fairfax County, when they took out merit-based education and watered down the curriculum of our advanced #1 school in the country, T.J. Hunt. Democrats said, well, if everyone can't be an Einstein, then we're just not going to have any more Einsteins. That's wrong. Maybe this is my last thought because I'm running low on time, but I want to leave you with this. When it comes to how we're going to win, we have got to be able to connect with voters in a way that they haven't seen before from Republicans. And I know that there are some Democrats who I can't save. They just love paying taxes. As a conservative, as a pro-life Republican, I know that we can begin to have a conversation with the other part of that party, Democrat Party, with independents and centrists and those who are Democrat conservatives. And we can say, we can all agree that we like money. We can all agree that you should keep more of your money. And as Republicans, we want to zero out your income taxes, and we can do it. There is a plan to do it. This is a winning message. It is a winning vision that I know we can succeed on. So, as you think about who you have to choose for your candidates to support on May 8th, I want you to take a very close look at my background, my campaign, and what I'm putting forward, because all the other candidates, they've got their ideas, they say this nice thing, and I agree with them most of the time. I disagree with a couple candidates who've said, no, we're not going to phase out the income tax. I think they're wrong. But as we look forward to 2021, who is going to represent our great party? I know we are only going to succeed if we have a vision. We have learned how to lose here in Virginia as Republicans, and I'm putting forward a new way, a new strategy, and a new playbook for how we are going to win. So, I'm Peter Doran. You can find out more about me at peterduran.org, but I really want to thank you for this evening. It has been a great honor to be able to talk with you.